love, what's up? Welcome to Confidently Uncomfortable. I'm your host, Jago, health and lifestyle coach, and not-so-regal confidence queen. Coming at you with the real, the raw, and of course, the uncomfortable. My mission is to show you that to be confident, it has absolutely nothing to do with being perfect or having it all together, and everything to do with you getting uncomfortable and pushing your limits. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. So our guest today is Ilyssa Herrington. She is a personal stylist and personal friend from Brooklyn, New York, and she helps empower women find their confidence and just pull themselves together effortlessly and feel just confident AF, which is what I'm all about. I'm super happy to have her on today and just share a little bit about her story. I am all about people finding the way to feel confidently and comfortable with, just diving deeper and pushing themselves to be their very best. And truly, her story is amazing, y'all. I cannot wait for you to hear it. So listen up and go ahead and welcome Ilyssa. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Hi, how are you today?
So good, so good. So we are going to get started. I want to really hear about what is the spiel. Let's start with the elevator pitch. If you were to step into the room with these girls in an elevator, how would you describe yourself and what you do?
Yeah. So I am a personal stylist with a focus on body acceptance and body positivity, as well as defining and figuring out your authentic personal style.
Yes. And I love that about you because you're never trying to make people fit a specific mold. You're truly finding out what is for them, which is so great. And I love that about you. So why was this so important for you, just getting started into your business?
So I guess I'll just give you a little rewind backstory. My business started, when I started my business, it was a very kind of typical personal styling business. You're kind of run of the mill, we declutter, we shop, whatever. And then I realized that the reason that I got into all of this was such a deeper calling, and I wanted to infuse that more into my business. So it's evolved since starting it. So the backstory is that before becoming a personal stylist, I started my work growing up around fashion. I'm a fourth generation person to work in fashion. I went to FITM for fashion school. And my work has become something that is very much part styling, part therapy. It's a real holistic approach to confidence. Also, something you should know, I grew up with a mother who's a paraplegic. She was paralyzed when she was 5 by a drunk driver. So growing up with a parent that had different needs and different physical abilities, and not necessarily having someone that looks like my mom reflected to me in the media, definitely impacted me as a human. And then, I went to FITM for fashion school, and I was working on becoming a celebrity stylist, red carpet stylist. That was at the height of red carpet, pre-Kardashians, but when, paparazzi was everywhere, TMZ. And I was really on that trajectory. I was working at Who What Wear, doing editorial work. And then I began getting really sick, which we can talk about more. But I ended up being sick for 9 years. And through that whole sickness and illness and dealing with myself and being my own advocate with health issues, my body changed a lot. And I realized that our self-worth is really tied to how we see ourselves internally and externally. So my mission has become very heart-centered, and my work has kind of transitioned into this thing that is both body-related, self-image, self-worth related, and something really heart-centered.
And I love it because in an industry that can sometimes get the rap of not being heart-centered, you're taking such a heart-centered approach, which is so amazing. And I would love to dive a little bit deeper into your story. So besides having such a strong mom in your life who's showing up and being herself when, like you said, in the world, you're not seeing a lot of that. What was that like for you just growing up? Do you feel what were the biggest lessons you learned just throughout that experience?
Yeah. So growing up, I'm 31 now. So growing up, there wasn't there weren't characters on TV. There weren't Target ads that had people in wheelchairs. It was rare. And kids really looked at my mom people would stare, that kind of thing. Mind you, my mom is brilliant. She was a psychoanalyst in New York. She's a character. She's won awards and stuff. But it was something that I felt very different in having a parent that was different. I was very tuned into her, and I'm an only child, miracle baby. So we're very close. But my mom would come into my classrooms every year and tell the story in a fairy tale way of there once was a little girl, and, kind of being that great equalizer and teaching kids that we're all the same, and it's good to ask questions, and it's safe to be curious, but that we're all really human. At the end of the day, we're all the same. So she's been a great teacher to me about really deep down, we're all the same. And it's not something that being different doesn't have to be a hard, bad thing. It can be a point of curiosity and teaching others.
Oh, I love and inspiring. I mean, what an amazing approach to where you were seeing your mom just be so confident and like be there and share her voice. And like you said, in a fairy tale way to like, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be curious. I think a lot of times we just feel like we can't, we're afraid to connect with people because we feel like we can't do that. We feel different. And then we immediately like, that makes us feel even more alone. So I love that she was able to really to break down those barriers. And I would love to hear more about your story. You mentioned that like you grew up and for 9 years you were sick. So I would love to hear a little bit more about your story through that and some obstacles you overcame and just whatever else you'd like to share with that.
Yeah. So it kind of ties in a bit with my mom. So she actually, when she like turned 40 or so, she felt a lump in her breast and she went to her doctor and brought that concern to them. And they said, don't worry about it. It's nothing. And she then asked for a second opinion and had to like fight for a second opinion and a third opinion and like getting multiple people to take it seriously and do biopsies and things. And they did find that it was early stages of cancer. So she was very proactive when it came to her own health, like not even just related to the wheelchair, like paraplegic stuff, but just as a woman, her own health, she knew that she knew her body better than anyone else. So she went out and she got, second opinions and she ended up getting a double mastectomy because they found cells that kind of made it think this is going to be something down the road. So I was always brought up around someone who was very proactive with their own health. So when I was about 20, I met the love of my life at a flash mob, as you do. So crazy. And like a year into our relationship, we moved in together. And soon after that, I started getting really sick. It started as like lower right abdominal pain and like flare-ups of something that seemed kind of autoimmune. And I would spend nights in the emergency room with pain and they could not figure out what was wrong with me. So I was in LA and I went to a highly renowned gastrointestinal doctor and I was misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease. And I was actually started getting treated for Crohn's disease and began treatment with like a chemo strength med. It was like an immunosuppressant. And this went on for years and years, pain medications. And then eventually the doctor said, we don't think it's Crohn's, but we don't know what it is. So there would be months, like 4-month blocks where I would be on a liquid only diet or mashed banana baby food diet because I could not tolerate anything. And there are months that go by where I'm so sick, I question if I will like survive to get married or anything like that. And that just goes on for years and years. And then eventually I do make it to get married. And then about a year after getting married, I got sicker than I ever had, kind of like pull over onto the side of the road in pain, couldn't stand at work. And that level of being that sick was at the end of the 9 years of being sick, but that was for a whole year that I was that sick. Crazy. And the final months of that year, the doctors knew that there was something going on. My blood levels showed a lot of like sky high inflammation is what they would say. And they put me on steroids because there was inflammation, but they didn't know why. And the steroids gave me something called moon face, which is, if you've ever had it, it's so great. Made me gain a ton of weight. I would walk into rooms, introduce myself, and apologize for what I looked like immediately. Really crazy. And then eventually a very smart doctor, I pushed my doctors to give me different opinions. And I found a surgeon through my OBGYN she was brilliant and she had seen me through all of it. And this surgeon listens to my story and looks at me and says, I have a hunch. I think it's chronic appendicitis. And like anyone that I tell this to, they're like, that's a thing. It's incredibly rare. It is not typically a thing, but bodies can do it. So basically, instead of just exploding it, it would make me sick over and over and over again. And she did the surgery. The pathology came back that it was confirmed as chronic appendicitis. And I went back to one of the gastroenterologists that I had along the way, who was kind of dealing with me and put me on those steroids. And it was a male doctor. And I told him, so we figured it out. It was chronic appendicitis. And he laughed. And yeah, he laughed and he said, "Ha, I basically told you it was all in your head." So I dealt with a lot of doctors that did not take me seriously, whether it be based on the fact that in society women aren't really listened to. Just people think, oh, like patients Google stuff and that it's all in their head and they're making it up. The thing is that like everything was very real, and to have doctors that don't listen, that has been like a real traumatic thing to get over for me. And I think we as women, I mean, you go back in history, like women with hysteria and like just craziness. So I think women just aren't taken seriously, especially in the medical field, enough as patients. But we just have to learn to be our own advocates.
Absolutely. I mean, the feeling of not being seen or heard from a doctor when you are in so much pain, like I cannot even imagine. So just the fact that you were willing to continue to question that and ask for other opinions is amazing. Like, what do you feel like compelled you to just keep seeking an answer? What do you feel like pushed you or motivated you?
I think that I knew my body better than these doctors that were kind of brushing me off. There was there was something very wrong. And it wasn't just that I was in so much pain, but the inflammation, my blood levels, like there was something that they could see what was going wrong. They just didn't know what. So I thought multiple times that like, I'm just going to die. Like, we're not going to know until they do the autopsy kind of thing, which is dark. But I just knew that there was something very wrong. And if I didn't fight to find the why, I wasn't going to live much longer. So I knew that I could tell there was something wrong inside of me. And I was just lucky that I found a female doctor and then a female surgeon who were willing to listen.
Yes, I mean that was not luck. That was just fate, girl. I'm so happy that you kept searching and you didn't give up. And from all of this, I mean, almost a decade of having to fight for yourself and fight for your life, essentially. Like seriously, what do you feel like is the biggest lesson you learned out of all of that?
I think that I learned that you have to trust yourself, listen to your intuition. You know yourself better than anybody else. So no matter what that looks like, if that's in your workplace, if that's in your marriage, if that's uh, just like bills being passed about women's health, anything like that, we have to listen to ourselves and know what's right for ourselves. It also like I had to get to the brink of death to figure out that I liked myself just as I was, and like the physicality of like healing from something and just being able to accept myself and forgive my body and thank my body for surviving, but forgive it for weight gain or like the scars on it. Like it's a level of appreciation that once you've survived that, you're like, okay, I like myself just as I am. I'm not going to waste my time stressing out over, do I look okay? Do I feel appropriate? Do I feel like someone's going to be offended if they see my body? It's really like you have to appreciate your body for what it's doing for you on a daily basis. I'm very grateful that my body's now like working with me a bit more. But yeah, I've just learned that you have to appreciate yourself right as you are right now and take care of yourself, but like listen to your intuition.
Oh, I love it. I mean, listening to your intuition is huge, but because a lot of times it's easy to doubt ourselves or question ourselves, especially when other people are questioning us. Like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Like, if there's someone out there right now listening who is struggling with what you just said, so like accepting who they are, accepting where they're at right now in their life, like, what is a key piece of advice you would give to them right now?
That's a great question. I mean, if someone's listening to this and they're going through that, it's easier said than done, right? They're like, yeah, that sounds great. I would love to like myself. Sure. I dealt with an eating disorder when I was younger. I used to really hate myself and what I looked like. But I think there's an innate, if you look at people who are confident and you say, well, they look confident. Why am I not confident? I think it's because they lean into what are their greatest strengths in life. So know what you like about yourself, or find out, be curious and find out what you like about yourself. Are you someone that you read a ton of books and like you're just like filled with knowledge and you have so much passion for that? Like share that and lean into that. That's not me. I wish that was me. I'm an audiobook person, but but I think like whatever your special sauce is, like lean into that and love on that and kind of focus your energy on the positives of the things that you enjoy about yourself. That makes you a more interesting person. That makes you a happier person. And then you'll start to appreciate yourself on a deeper level than just like, oh, there's 10 pounds sitting on me that I didn't like so much.
I love that, leaning into your strengths. I think that that's so important, and we all have them, and we're continuing to develop them. So I think the more we focus on that, the more we can let go of this idea of perfection or having to fit a certain mold, because that's not fun at all.
Yeah.
I think that's great. So I love how passionate you are about empowering women, and I would love to know, like, what do you feel like drives you kind of crazy about, gosh, don't even know where to start. I want to get back into fashion, but basically, like, what are some things that kind of drive you mad about the industry that you work in and how you want to go about changing them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I have never, just because I'm strange and I'm me, I've never really had that thought that fashion is like this shallow land. I've always realized if you take care of yourself, and I've worked in fashion, like in fashion for so long that I just innately knew if you take care of yourself and you wear clothes that make you feel good, you present yourself to the world a different way. But I've had several clients that say like, oh, I feel like kind of nervous about doing this because I feel like it seems shallow. So I will say the fashion industry comes from a place of lack, right? Like I think fashion is innately something that's like lack, like magazines telling you and media telling you, you need this, you don't have this, but you'll be happy once you do. It's that like innate consumerism. So that drives me nuts. Because I think if we simplify things and we look internally about why are we the way we are? Was there someone like your aunt who wore turquoise jewelry and she inspired you and you want to exude that? There's like little pieces of us throughout our lives that can be represented in fashion. So I think looking inward more about personal development and about who we are internally and using that as a barometer for your personal style is something that I feel passionately about. But even just a couple of weeks ago, I had a meeting with someone who is in the fashion industry as in the normal fashion industry, not my weird little corner of the internet. And the way that she spoke of women and style and fashion disturbed me because it seemed so out of touch with real women who are dealing with being a different size than Kendall Jenner, or like this idea of like that fashion being on trend, being more important than what's true to them and what works for their life and what's functional for their life as they're chasing around their kids or working at their tech company all day. So the fashion industry, I think, tends to be coming from a place that is not necessarily in alignment with a lot of real women going through self-image issues. And so that's where I feel a passion to kind of focus my energy and tell women that they're not alone and it's all within them and just kind of unlocking that.
Oh, yes, it's all within you. And I feel like that's so great that you're looking at it differently and recognizing like, okay, this can be done differently and it can be empowering. Instead of feeling like there's a lack, it's showing that there's strength within you, which is great. And you've actually are you working on a course around this, aren't you?
Yeah. So I think a lot of times style can feel so overwhelming, especially if you've got a closet and you're kind of going through that cycle of like you declutter, you buy some more clothes, and then you realize you're not wearing them. And then another year goes by or season goes by and you declutter again.
That's
So
my
yeah. So that's like this kind of cycle that happens a lot of times. And I think that there's some really like core basics in understanding what to look for when you're going through your closet, just with your existing wardrobe, not even thinking about um, growing your wardrobe, but even where do you start with what you have right now? So yeah, I'm starting this Style 101 course that's going to be covering decluttering, the basics around personal style, like tips and tricks on how to like flatter your body to make yourself feel like your most confident self. We're covering all of like the good basics that you need to really start exactly where you are.
That is awesome. It's like the style course almost is going to save you money. Like I need this because it means I'm going to be able to incorporate more of my closet and actually wear the clothes that I buy instead of like being in leggings every freaking day. So I'm so pumped for this course to launch. I cannot wait. So I would love to know like what date is it launching? What's the plan? And I will definitely tell you guys as soon as it does, but I want to know like tell me a little bit more.
So we'll be launching for Black Friday, which by the time this airs, that would have already happened.
So get on it now.
So get on it now. I'll give you a discount code. Jordan will fill you in the comment section or wherever this is. just for you guys as listeners and friends of Jordan as well, because Jago is my friend and I love what she's all about. But yeah, basically we all spend so much time and waste so much time and money with the amount. If you were to add up the dollars of the clothes you don't wear in that wardrobe, that's scary. So this is kind of like a proactive thing that you can start in the new year, new decade, and really start the year off strong with what you already own.
I love the idea of like getting this started in December and starting January fresh. And so working with you is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. So I know that they're going to be excited just to learn more about this course and about you. And I'm so thankful that you just were willing to dive deeper into this and not just talk about like table talk and like very surface level things, but like that is not you. Like you are so real and willing to dig deeper with people. And that's how you are with your clients. I see you do it every day. And I just appreciate that so much about you because it empowers me just like every time I talk with you. And I truly see that passion to empower women just with everything you do. So I truly appreciate you. We're going to do some rapid fire questions. They're the fun ones. Be ready to go, ready as soon as you can, whatever comes to your mind. They're kind of weird, but we're both pretty weird, so it's okay, right?
Okay, sounds good. Right. Perfect.
All right, ready. So first one is, what's your favorite word?
Oh my God, this is so hard.
I know! Like SATs over here.
Gratitude.
Ooh, I love that. Gratitude. All right. Tacos or pizza?
I have so many food allergies, so I'm going to say gluten-free, grain-free pizza.
Yes, it's okay. You can be as specific as you like. Perfect world. It's going to be delivered to you right now.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite dessert?
And chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yes, anything chocolate.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Favorite, this is a weird one too. Favorite sound or noise?
Probably my husband's voice.
Oh, why are you guys the cutest? Ah! Okay, love that. This last one, I want to know, okay, what is one thing, I mean, you know that this is confidently uncomfortable, so I want to know what is one thing that you're working towards that you're super excited about, you know you want to go in confident, but you know you're going to have to get uncomfortable and push the boundaries with yourself. Like what's something you're working towards in the near future?
I think that for me, this past year has been all about getting intentional. And so going into the new year, I'm really trying to connect with the idea of like rest and Sabbath and like taking time away from the screens in my life, which is hard to do, especially, you know, like being an online entrepreneur. That's a real like hard thing to do. But that's something that I think like getting uncomfortable and pushing into like what space that can create. That's kind of, I think, something I'm looking to do in this next year.
I love it. The ability of like, you don't have to stay busy and like, it's not a badge of honor, learning to slow down and rest. I love it. And it might feel uncomfortable because we feel like we're in a world where we feel like we have to constantly doing things, right?
Yes. There's always more to do.
There's always more to do. But I'm so glad that, speaking of things to do, that you just took the time to sit down with me and get to know each other a little bit better. I'm so thankful for you sharing your story, Ilyssa. Like, y'all, she is literally the most amazing person in the world. Angel on earth, like such a great inspiration.
You are.
No, you are. And I want all of you guys to just go out and follow her right now. So her Instagram is Ilyssa Herrington with an underscore in the middle, right? I want to make sure.
You got it.
I'll put in the show notes, but it is ILLYSSA_Herrington, which is HERRINGTON. Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah, just one L.
Oh my God, why do I have two? Y'all, it's in the show notes. Don't listen to me. It's ILYSSA Herrington _
Yes.
Awesome. We'll give you guys everything you need to know about her. Definitely go stalk her because she's got the cutest feet ever and like the best clothes. And she's so willing to serve and help you. So find her in the DMs, right, girl?
Yeah. Send me a message. Tell me you came from Jago. Give me your like style qualms and I will help you to feel better about yourself. Yeah.
Heard it first, guys. She'll help you with all your qualms.
I'm like, is that a favorite word now? I don't know.
That's my favorite word now. I love it. I'm going to find ways to use it. But thank you so much for being here, guys. Thanks for listening, Ilyssa. We're going to keep talking after this, but I'm going to go ahead and say bye to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know. Be sure to share it and tag both of us and let us know what you thought. Thanks. Thanks again for listening to Confidently Uncomfortable. I love being able to connect with you here and honestly don't want it to end. So head over to my Facebook group, Body Confident Blueprint, and be sure to follow me on Insta at JagoFitLife. Also, if you're ready to get real confidently uncomfortable, go leave this podcast a 5-star review and email me the review screenshot, support@jagofit360.com, for a chance to win a free 30-minute fitness audit and goal setting session. I appreciate your support. See you next time.